Brianna Jones, and I'm here to talk to you about how dancing affects the brain. I was stimulated by the article, Why is Dancing So Good for Your Brain by Christopher Bergland, and it inspired me to look into how the changes that occur in a dancer's brain, if we can use that to treat people who suffer from dizziness or motion sickness, vertigo, or such. Dancing can improve your brain in many ways. It can help treat chronic dizziness, it can help with motion sickness, it can help with your overall brain functioning, and with your overall health. It can affect your overall health with your exercise. It can help you lose weight and stay flexible. It can help with your muscle memory because in dance you have to memorize steps, and the steps stimulate your mind, so therefore it helps with your muscle memory. It can boost your self-esteem because it gives you confidence and a better body image of yourself. It can help you emotionally because it's proven to reduce stress and help you make friends. And it can affect your mood because it releases endorphins that make you happier. It can improve your brain function because dancing allows for individuals to achieve their peak performance by combining cerebral and cognitive thought processes with muscle memory in the cerebellum. And this is according to Christopher Bergland. This means that by analyzing the changes that occur in the brain of the dancer, scientists can use this information to help treat those with chronic dizziness and motion sickness. Motion sickness is the feeling one gets when the motion you sense with your inner ear is different from that of your head position and the motion that you visualize in front of you. And a lot of times this can occur within a plane, a boat, a car, or a train. And the source of this is the mixed signal sent to your brain by the eyes and the inner ear, and this is according to MedicineNet. So it's basically when you feel uneasy, and it can be followed by sweating, nausea, vomiting, or dizziness. And it's basically like when you can't see what the motion your body feels, or when you can't feel the motion that your body sees, is what causes the mixed signals to your brain. There are 4 main types of chronic dizziness: vertigo, lightheadedness, disequilibrium, and anxiety. Vertigo is the feeling of motion when one is not moving at all. This can include like feeling like the room is spinning around you. The problem is signals within the vestibular system in your ear. The second is lightheadedness, and that is when one feels faint, and this can be temporary or a long-lasting thing. The third is disequilibrium, and it affects the area of motor skills. So someone feels uneasy on their feet or has a sense of feeling like they're going to fall whenever they try to walk. And the final one is anxiety, and it's not a direct form of dizziness, but when someone's anxious or scared, frightened, or worried, they can tend to feel dizziness as a symptom of that. And this is all according to WebMD. As far as treatment goes for these, balance is a complex system with many components that when one part breaks down, it causes dizziness. So basically it's saying like if part of your ear system is out of balance, or part of your cerebellum part of your brain is out of system, then it can cause one to feel dizzy. This can be long-term or it can be short-term for both people. Other parts the other parts of the system learn to compensate for the part that fails, and then sometimes it doesn't, and that is what can cause long-lasting chronic dizziness. And this can be treated through vestibular rehabilitation, and that is an exercise-based program to improve the balance and reduce the dizziness-related problems. Brain adaptions. Changes occur in the cerebellum and the cortex. So the cerebellum is what controls the motor functions of your body, and the cerebral cortex is what controls one's perception of dizziness. So in a dancer's brain, they realized that the 2 main changes were in these areas of your brain. There was a study done at Imperial College of London. There were 29 dancers' brains compared with that of 20 rower brains, and these were all females. The results were discrepancies between the cerebellum and the cerebral cortex. And they also saw changes in the vestibular organs in the ear. And this was from Nature World News. So when one spins, the fluid in the ear gets moved around, and the tiny hairs that detect the position of the head can't place it with how it actually is like facing. So the dancers' brains are trained to suppress the messages that the inner ear sends, so that's why they cannot feel dizziness. So in the study, the subjects Subjects were sat in a rotating chair and they were asked to spin a wheel as fast as they felt they were spinning and to stop whenever they felt the dizziness had stopped, and the dancers turned the wheel slower and for a shorter amount of time than those of the rowers. In a dancer's brain versus that of the average person, the cerebellum is smaller and there is a reduced amount of gray matter density in the brain. Julie West was an ex-dancer, and she stated that I was a ballerina for 15 years and I have now suffered from chronic dizziness for over 10 years. This shows that even if your brain is trained to suppress the images that your ear is sending to your mind, that a long absence without doing the spinning over and over again can cause your brain to change back and not be able to suppress those messages anymore. Some opposing views to this are, some people say that marking is the reason that dancers do not feel dizzy, but this is not true because there's studies showing that their brains are different from that of an average human. They say it's a female-dominant area, so men aren't affected like women are, but this is also not true because there were studies done on men that proved it was the same. Others say that people with ear problems won't be able to have like problems with dizziness and such, so they say that they can't be treated with vestibular rehabilitation, but this is also false. And people with physical limitations that can't spin, so their brain can't change, but there's water therapy or something for those. And my solutions and conclusions are to help treat chronic dizziness with vestibular rehabilitation and also motion sickness with vestibular rehabilitation. And my conclusion is that changes to the brain allow dancers to spin and not feel dizzy, and it is not marking. Thank you.
Okay, very good. I have a couple questions for you here. How valid and reliable are the sources you used? How do you know that? And which sources didn't work?
I looked into a couple sources that were on news and blog sites, and those didn't really work because they were more opinion-based than they were fact-based. But other ones, I tended to look at the author, and they went to colleges that were very, like Harvard, very distinguished places, and they had very distinguished positions in their field, which made them reliable authors.
Okay, very good. Did you have any that didn't work? Oh, you said that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
If you have more time, what additional research would you conduct related to this issue?
I would see if there was another way other than vestibular rehabilitation, like if there was another kind that hasn't maybe been thought of before, if there were other ways that we could use these changes to help those who suffer from chronic disease.